Hello everybody again. Here's a little nugget for my loyal followers. Um, if you can, keep this secret to yourself. I've disguised the title a little bit so that people won't find it under a general search. Um, it's difficult to find a way to make good money these days in the game, but I've been making 100 million an hour doing this. Um, so I'm going to pass it on to you as my loyal followers. So as I say, just keep it to yourself, because as soon as anybody publishes it, these things get nerfed. So that's why I say just keep it to yourself. Um, right, I'm in Bullychev Hub in LP 128-32, and I got here when I did a community goal week or so ago, and when I came back afterwards, I had a look and I noticed I was repped up with everybody. So, and then there was some quite high-paying missions, including skimmer missions. Now, I did another video on skimmer missions, and after doing a bit of research here, I found out that one of the factions has got a station with no security, which makes killing the skimmers dead easy. So that's what I've been doing. Right, so to get here, what I recommend, or when you come here, you need to be repped up with all the factions, probably to get the high paying missions. I don't know whether they offer you them, but just lower pay when you first arrive. This guy here, I'm low with him because it's his pirates I was killing when I was doing the community goal. So I just recently I was taking on some extra missions for him to try and get him up, just to increase the rate at which I can get these missions. And they're all sort of military-ish ones, but occasionally there's some data ones, so you might get some rep there. But what I recommend you do is bring some, valuable cargo, astronomical data, or anything like that, to get repped up straight away. And also what you can do is, there's a res site here, go there and do a bit of bounty hunting and come back. I mean, that's how I got repped up with everybody. I didn't even do it intentionally. I just happened to notice that I was repped up with them doing the bounty hunting. So any of those methods get you up, and the sooner you get to fully up, then you get the really high-paying missions, which go up to, I've had nearly 9 million. So the average is about 5 million for the ones that I'm looking for. So I'll just show you on my panel which ones they are. So here we are. Corporate strike against 37 Ursine Majoris Silver Creative Century. It's got to be that faction, the 37 Ursine Majoris. Be careful, because there's ones to kill pirates as well. It's dead easy to, accidentally click those, but of course when you get rid of them again, you lose your rep. So just be careful of that. As you can see, that one's 6 million. 5 million. It's a lower one. Another lower one. 4 million. 4 million is quite low this time. See if I can find a high one. 7 million. 5. You can see they average out about 5 million. I think there's an 8 million one there. 6. 8.2. 5. So anyway, you can see what they are, and you can stack 20 of them. So in order to do that you've got to do a lot of logging, and they're not that frequent. So it can take you up to an hour to fill up with your 20. And quite often you get a load straight away, like 25 million's worth in like 5 minutes. But then it goes very quiet. You keep logging and you don't see any more. So it might be an idea, if you get to do them 25 million at a time. But I've been filling right up, so 20 times 5 million is 100 million. And it takes about 20 minutes or so to actually do the missions and get all your money. And as I said, anything up to an hour to get them. But on average, it's taken me an hour to get and do the 20. So it comes and goes, suddenly there's loads of missions and then sometimes it's not. So just load up with them, and then I'll show you how to do them. Right, the next thing is what you need to do the missions. You can use any ship, even a Sidewinder, but if you're going to use a small ship, I would recommend getting it as fast as possible, like a Viper or anything with enhanced thrusters if you've got that engineer unlocked, because you're going to get interdicted by bounty hunters, because you rack up a bounty and then the bounty hunter's going to come after you, so you've got to run away from them all the time. Because I was doing my bounty hunting here, I'm here in my battleship with Federal Corvette. You don't need that. I've done these before in another system, exactly the same as this, just using an ASP, and that was good enough. But as I said, you need to be familiar with how to get away from ships, NPCs that interdict you. You know, basically just submit and run. But to do that, you want something with a bit of speed to be safe. Right, the only thing you need is, I've put them, where are they? Down here. Missile racks, dumbfire ones. Two of them probably better than one. I've done it with Class 1 missiles as well, but these Class 2 seem to work quite well. I think you can fit them to, something like a Viper or, basically any other ship. So that's the only weapons used. I've got all these other ones, so when I get interdicted, sometimes I kill the bounty hunters. But you only get 200 credits for killing the bounty hunters, and sometimes it can take you 15 minutes. They've all got SCBs, and so they're always long battles, and so it's not worth fighting them if you don't have to. But sometimes for convenience, to get rid of them, I do it. If you've got one following you on the way to the base, I don't know whether they follow you in. I didn't take that chance, because they do follow you. Once you've seen them, they've given you a message, and if you submit some boost and get away again, they're still there. And what will happen is wherever you drop out, they'll drop out with you. But I'm not sure that works at bases. It works at stations and USSs, anything like that. But of course, when you drop out at the station, there's all the feds there, and you're in through the slots before they, get a chance to do anything. So they're no problem. Right. So that's it with the ships. So that's just a question of going to the right place. So if we open up our nav panel, you'll see it here. There it is, 37th Ursi Majoris. It's not far away, 9 light years, so you should be able to get there in any ship. I've got some other missions for that faction I'm trying to rank up with, so I'm going to stop off on the way. I take missions that's in the same system at station near to the base, so I'm going to drop off those, and what I'll do, I'll see you at the as I approach the base. Okay, now that we've arrived in the system where we do the missions, I'm going to show you where to go. So this faction has several bases, and you'll notice that the missions, there's one there, one there, one there. Even if you haven't got a mission that sends you to this one, this is the one you want, Kirtley Observatory, because that's the one with no security. You can complete all the other ones, even though they're for other bases, you can complete them at this base. And that's true of any of these skimmer missions. You don't have to do them at the base where it tells you to go. You can go to any base that the factions that owns, and often they own more than one base in the system, or even in different systems. So just do your research, and you can often find one that's dead easy to get the skimmers. While I'm travelling, and just a reminder that you get mission rewards as well as credits, commodities, and they're nothing but a nuisance really. And if you forget to unload them after completing all your missions, then you're going to get pirates after you as well as bounty hunters. So just be mindful of that. So always, as soon as you handed in all your missions, get rid of all that cargo that they've given you. It just means extra interdictions and more time wasting. What was the other thing I was going to say? Oh yeah, another thing you notice. I'm hostile here because of power play, not because of anything I've been doing. I've signed up to power play, and this is a different power in this system, so I'm hostile. But you don't get any hassle because of that. I don't know why they bother with that, because it never seems to do anything. But you'll notice that I'm not wanted here, even though I've been doing a lot of naughty things. I've got a massive bounty in this system. The bounty is a bit unique with this one, that it only applies at the actual base where you're doing this. That's the only jurisdiction sort of in this general area. I guess if I go to the other bases on the other planets, I'll be wanted there as well, but not in general space for some reason or other. And it was the same as that last time I did it, when I did my other video, the special place I went there as well. You know, it's only when you drop out of Super Cruise that you become wanted, which is quite convenient. So no feds are going to get you at any time. It's pretty safe from that point of view. You don't have to use any stealth tactics. So just follow your nav panel to Kirtley Observatory, and I'll show you how to do it. On my way to the station where I dropped off those other missions, I got interdicted by a bounty hunter. You don't get them at first. You need to run quite a few and rack up a fair bit of bounty before they come after you. And they do scale with the ship that you've got. So if you've got a battleship like this, you know, it's quite nasty ones that come after you. While as if you're doing it in a Sidewinder, then it'll be, you know, like maybe an Eagle or something that comes after you. So not so difficult to get away from. Right now, very occasionally, I think I've had one, when I've arrived at this base, there was a Python flying around. But that's the only time there's been a ship there when I've arrived. And it didn't bother me, I just carried on. Yeah, it did shoot me, but Python can't bother this ship. And you also, like, because you'll see in a minute, I've got to do some logging in and logging out. And when you log in, you know, anytime a ship can arrive and start shooting you, but so you might want a little bit of tanking ability if you can. So I think an ASP would be quite a good ship, and you know, give it nice strong shields, make it nice and fast, and a bit of hull reinforcements as well. Right, so here we are at Kirtley Observatory. No ships here, by the looks of it. Just fly in. You can get your weapons out once you drop out of glide. And I've put my missile racks in a separate fire group. Makes it nice and easy. Obviously you got to remember that, because when you get interdicted, you know, you've got to change fire groups to be able to shoot the bad guys. So here we are. It's on a very steep hill, which is a little bit awkward if you're in a big ship. You can't quite see it at the moment. I've got to come around sort of from here. And it's sort of scooped out. Like sitting, can you see it now? It's sort of sitting on a plateau. And when you get close, you've got to get like dead close. The 3 skimmers will spawn. There they come. Just fire your missiles, bang. Put 2 straight away. You can normally get all 3 at once if you're in the right position. Right, then you want to position yourself something like this. You can see the terrain on the radar now, even though it looks sort of fairly innocuous. You can see actually it's very, very steep there. You have to be careful to keep the nose off, because if your nose touches the skimmer, you lose your shields instantly. You don't die or anything like that, but you be careful of that, because then if another ship comes and starts shooting you, you know, you got no shield. Right, so having killed them, all you have to do now is log out. So no one's in open. So I'll put it in private group this time. Probably best not to do it in open because now, you know, other guys might come and you can't all kill the same skimmers. I don't know how that works in open. So I'm the only one coming here. You know, I've got no problems at the moment. When you lot come, different. Right, and as soon as you you come back, get your weapons out, and as soon as you see the symbols in the middle of your screen, fire them. And what will happen is the skimmers sort of tend to go to the other side of the plateau from where you are, which leaves them in a perfect position. And if you don't get them all at once, just tilt your ship and fire again. You've got to wait 15 seconds after the last shot before you can log, otherwise it tells you you've got so many seconds to go. So I put it in private now. An alternative is you can just fly out. Yeah, this is the correct gameplay really. Just fly out and fly back in again to reset the instance, and the skimmers will respawn. It obviously takes a little bit longer like that. So it's 9 we got now. Now you'll notice this is something I didn't realise would happen, but does. 2 missions have completed with so far 9 skimmers. So some skimmers do seem to be working for more than one mission. And it works out on average you need about 25 logs. So what's that? That's 75 skimmers to complete all the missions. So I'll do private, just private and solo for, just in case somebody turns up. Now, one other thing is that when you've killed the skimmers, so like this, I missed that one. Now, if you don't get them straight away, they're much more tricky to get because you want them when they're on the ground, because then the explosion. Yeah, that's what it is. Right, see what, I've got another 3 there, just for 3 skimmers. So I've now got 6 missions. Was it 2 I had before? Or was it, so 5 missions for 12 skimmers. So I don't know how many I needed to kill for the missions, I never even bothered looking. Because they go up to 12. These updates will just tell you that you get extra money. I didn't get a chance to show you what I was going to show you then, I'll do it this time. You can log into solo every time, it doesn't make any difference. As the skimmers are spawned regardless, whichever mode you're in. Right, what can happen if I try and, if you've got to wait the 15 seconds, but what can happen is a ship is now coming to get you. You don't see it because it's travelling from somewhere, I don't know. And then when you log off, like here, and you go to save, to exit, it tells you you've got to wait 15 seconds. You think that's funny, I thought we'd waited 15 seconds. And it's because you're actually under attack. And of course you can't see it now, but you do see the screen down here just jogging a little bit. So that's a clue that you're being shot. So just be careful of that. They don't normally do you enough damage, especially if you're in a big ship or a tankified one. I'll do solo again. So that's it, you just keep doing this. I think it's about 25 times if you've got 20 missions. And then when you got them all, you go back to the station and cash in. So I'll see you, so there's another 2. So what's that, 7 missions in 7 logs or something. Anyway, I'll see you back at the station. Right, here we are back, approaching Bulichev hub. It is a little bit awkward to get in because it's so close to the planet. There's a lot of gravity, it slows you down. That's no big deal. One thing I forgot to mention, it's quite important, is that this may well all change when version 3 drops next week. So you've probably only got 6 days from now, not from when you watched the video, you have to look when I published it, to do this. It might carry on afterwards, I don't know. I didn't try it in the beta, so no idea at all. But it'd be worth having a look just to see if it's still here. Maybe I'll put a comment in if I can that it's still there afterwards. I'm not going to be doing it much longer now, I won't have money. I've got over 50 billion altogether. Oh, I keep doing this when I'm doing these videos. It's dead easy talking away. You forget to ask for docking permission. I don't know how many times I've done that. It's quite embarrassing sometimes. Right, I won't get as much this time as I normally do because I did run 3 other missions, so that's 17 out of 20 times my normal 100 bit. Let's see what we get. So I've got 820 at the moment. Right, 820, 905, so what's that, 85 million. If you can check the clock, see how long it took me from when I arrived at the base to, you know, when I've cashed in. And now I've got to spend, you know, it can be anything from about half an hour to an hour to fill up with 20 missions again. So yeah, I hope you get something from that. It's not everybody's cup of tea, as I said, but because it's a lot of logging and a lot of waiting. But if you just need cash, especially if you want to like stack up before version 3 drops, you can do that for a few days and get something for it. So I'll see you again in another video. Right, I've just completed another cycle, which is a more normal one. You'll see at the end of the last cycle it was 14:53, now it's 15:42, so it's what, 49 minutes later. So we had a minute for doing this, so 50 minutes. I've got 9:05 there at the moment. Shame you can't just cash in all at once. So now I've got 1015, so that was 110 million in 50 minutes, you can say. So that was probably, so well, you can see between the two it's averaged out at 100 million an hour. So, okay, I just thought I'd add that little bit in. See you again.